remain in your natural, literally like breathing down each other's necks. It's a little bit unusually close to remain in natural, so this is about the time when you'd want to be sending that drone down. Generally that 14th drone, or just before then. And as I say that, I almost forget to build a pool. So what am I testing right now? I am just testing some sort of smooth way to begin getting some roaches at my ramp. Perhaps even do a little bit of poking with some roaches early on. I just want to play around with how it feels to be going Mass Queen. And that is something that is just highly underrated, is just getting a feel for it. Because I'm not going to lie, I am a player who tried not to go roaches when everyone was like, roaches are imbalanced, don't go roaches. I was also a player who was delighted when roaches were nerfed, because I'm like, sweet, I don't have to go roaches. And I've been focusing so much on Mutalisks that now all of a sudden it's a playstyle that not only incorporates roaches, but also queens. Ugh. And you know what's super, super, super uncomfortable about going Mass Queen is that it's two different kinds of production. I played Zerg in Brood War for, I think, the last 8 or 9 years I was playing. And I played for a total of 12 years. And in my Zergy head, units come out of Larva. And I am good at managing Larva and not good at managing a unit queue as Zerg. And now you have the queue of the Queen building up at the hatch and the Larva for all the rest of the units. It's completely... I have no idea how it's supposed to feel. And I'm already feeling that my brain is a little confused of exactly how this is going to work out. So I'm hopefully going to point out some of these little confusions I'm going to be having as I get the chance to actually build some queens in a moment. And I'm just spreading my overlords out, just, you know, good general Zerg practice. And I'm trying to send these guys. It's a little bit tougher because, you know, I don't have my mouse scroll set up. So I'm going to be also doing some spamming here to get a second queen out. Nifty-tastic. I'm also going to be building some drones here. Here, you know, how's this for an arbitrary time? At 24 food, that is when I will first be producing spine crawlers. So here's my Zerglings coming out. Generally want to get about 4. I like getting 4 Zerglings out because most players will do some sort of little push with 4 right at the start. And I want to have enough stuff to block. So looks like I might not be hitting my 3-minute and 30-second deadline. Wow, it certainly appears that going for spine crawlers at 24 was too late. I guess I do need to do it quite a bit earlier. So I'm now getting my Overlord at 15. Or excuse me, 25. And it looks like... oh, yeah, maybe just a few seconds earlier I really need to be getting those things. And of course I forgot to vomit Larva because... oh no, I did remember to vomit Larva. I'm awesome. And, oh, wow, okay, well, geez. In the midst of trying to make sure that my front was blocked and trying to make sure that I actually had good timing and everything. And, of course, this is an incredibly dangerous move, what I just did. Sending this queen over there, I would really need 2 overlords, one spotting here and one spotting here to ensure that there wasn't anything insane like a bunch of Zerglings and Banelings just waiting for this queen to move down the ramp. Still a little wary of moving this one up to the main. I'll go ahead and spread my creep tumor a little bit. Hell, I don't know if I'm supposed to be getting 2 gas right now, but I am. I'm also building a pretty steady inflow of overlords. This guy should be finishing any second. I think I might be getting my... I think I might be getting way too many drones here because I'm not paying attention. I think I might be getting my gas a little too late. I mean, I know I said that I got it because I forgot about it. I was getting it too late in that regard, but again, I gotta keep this thing blocked. But I still think I need to get it even earlier than whatever the hell time I got it at. So, you know, right about now, I'm starting to really feel, okay, cool, you know, now I can finally pull these guys off the ramp. Oops, Overlord's in the way. Hey, now I'm still pretty secure to Banelings. And with just a few roaches and these spine crawlers, I feel pretty friggin' safe at the outset. Now, I'm noticing here that I am at 5 minutes, and about 5 minutes and some. 5 minutes and change, I would just say. I'm making 2 queens now because I'm pretty damn sure that's the time when you really need to start feeling a little bit worried as a player that, whoops, that Mutalisks are coming. Oh god, that didn't go well. If you thought sending all your guys to 1 mineral patch was bad in Starcraft 1, wait till you have infinite unit selection cap. Oof, that's the worst. So now I'm just starting to add on some more queens. Cool. I'm getting my upgrade first. I don't want to get too many. I don't really want to get too many spine crawlers. I just want to get enough to deter. And as I forget, I'm thinking I like my timing on getting these queens at around the 5-minute mark. I'm noticing now that I've been using the 5-minute mark a little bit more than the food count. I really need to go back now and double check this food count. Oh wow, you know, I'm noticing I really don't need these extra gas geysers. I could probably get away with just the 2 in my main. Well, maybe I haven't been making any roaches. So again, that's something to consider. I'm also noticing things like with my spore crawler placement. Ordinarily, let's uproot this guy. Ordinarily, I would need like a spore crawler here and a spore crawler here. But if I have these really mobile queens, what I really want is something more like the way you see Zerg vs. Terran work. In that's actually a little bit too far forward. I would want something more like the way you would see a Terran player build his turrets in Zerg vs. Terran in Brood War. I would want something like spore crawlers here to push him away and to zone him more to this side until my queens can get there. And of course I'm forgetting overlords. I'm actually just going to spam overlords to get a sense of this cost. And you know, so I'd probably do something like build a spine crawler. Trying to build it back there, but apparently that's off the building zone. But, you know, whatever. Let's just ignore that. So I'm starting to feel like, really, I can begin massing up my queens pretty damn early. And, whoa, here's my millions and millions of overlords coming up here. And as we're clearly seeing, I'm not the best at talking and, you know, smoothing something out at the same time. There's one last thing I want to check really fast. Here's a test. So here's my queen. I'm going to vomit right here. And I'm going to run this queen away. So I'm kind of abandoning the smoothness of the build. There's maybe 1 or 2 things that I learned, and I'll mention those in just a second. And go away, little roaches. But what I'm doing is I'm vomiting larva with the queen here, and I'm thinking, when does the larva pop off relative to when this queen finishes? Because it's looking pretty damn close. I think that it's like 10 seconds of time is the difference. So yeah, there's 1, 2... 3, maybe a little less than 10 seconds. So let's just go ahead and vomit. Alright, cool. So I can do something like constant queen production, and whenever I see a queen pop out, I just vomit and send her, right into battle. So what was it that I was practicing? So at the start, it was getting some timings down, really pat. And then the big question I started to say was, well, hell, when do I start making queens? And I got something that was okay. I got something that felt pretty reasonable. And that's about all I got on my first test run of that. And that took 5 minutes of Starcraft time, which is just such a small amount of time. I mean, if you can just imagine, like, 30 minutes just doing that 6 times in a row, if you learned 1 or 2 things in each of those, you'd have a really solid sense of how to pull this off when you get into a real game. And I already know that I'm Baneling bust proof. So hell, what I would probably end up doing next is say, well, when can Mutalisks possibly come? And I would check 1 base Mutalisks and 2 base Mutalisks. And I would just keep those things stored away in my head. And I would look at the times. I would say, oh, you know, sticky note, because I write on sticky notes. Dear sticky note, remember 5 minutes. I'd put it right here on my monitor. I'd say 5 minutes is 1 hatch Mutalisk, and 6 minutes is 2 hatch Mutalisks. I'm making these numbers up, but let's just say that's what it is. Then when I'm doing my queen build, I can go, oh, it's 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Better start making those queens. You know, or I can say, well, I saw my opponent did not, in fact, go 1 base. He has early expanded. So around 5 minutes and 40 seconds, that's really when I need to begin making queens. So you can start setting up all these nice little benchmarks for yourself for adjustments and the associated stuff. And you'll note that once my build got botched, I thought to myself, what other useful thing could I check? So I checked that queen timing with the larva. So I was like, neat. So now when I'm coming back in here, and remember, it's so important you have deliberate practice. So next up, what am I going to do? Well, in that practice run, you just saw me say, what was one of the things that I mentioned? Let's come back right over here. Right at the start of the game, you saw me say, you know what? I'm just going to build these spine crawlers when I'm at 24 food. That is a number I said, and I was like, ugh, that feels a little early. So then what I would do is I would say, okay, 22 food instead of 24 food. And I would test that. 24 food, was that good the first time? I don't know, but it's a number, and I know that number's too big, so I'm pulling it back down. The other thing I'm thinking is, when do I get that, when do I get my upgrades? Because, I want to be getting an evolution chamber to get upgrades at some point, because if I get +1 attack, it helps my queens, my roaches, and my hydralisks really, really, really smooth. Really, what's the word I'm looking for? Very focused. That's focus, not the word. What is the word? I'm not gonna keep going until I remember this word. It's very lean. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. It's like lean decision